Like, I don't, dude. I go out of my way to make sure that I am never even alone in another room with a woman ever.
Man, this is so interesting. So, a couple of months ago, we have the viral post of women choosing whether or not they would like to be with a bear in the woods or with another man. And they all picked the bear, and at the same time, they're completely baffled why men were offended about that. But then you also have this Reddit board where you have trans people talking about their experiences. And the most interesting one is to see the experiences of trans men. Women who have lived their life as a woman and then they try to present themselves to society as a man. And they're basically saying that they're abhorred about how other women are treating them. Because some of them were passing for men, and they noticed that other women, like they would cross the street if it was an alley at night. You could feel them tense up whenever they went into their presence. So, like, this is normal, by the way, for women to say, yeah, like, if it's a stranger and I don't know them, I don't trust them. And this is something perfectly based. I mean, it's 2024, so stranger danger, am I right? If you don't know a person, why should you trust them automatically and implicitly? It's different when it's an acquaintance, it's different when it's someone you know, but if it's a random stranger and you don't feel comfortable, that is completely your right to behave in any way that you think it's acceptable, whether it is to keep your eyes at all times on the person, to tense up, to make sure that your hand is over your wallet. Like, all of these are fine, right? It's just that people on the internet will tell you, no, you actually shouldn't. And by the way, the people on the internet, if you actually get assaulted, they're not going to help. They're not going to donate money to you or anything like that. They don't care, right? They only care about you not being tensed up. So that is the situation when it comes with women. But when it comes to men, after we witnessed the Me Too movement, and after we witnessed so many celebrities getting falsely accused, and the problem with the false accusation is that sometimes it took months or years for the person to clean their name when they did absolutely nothing wrong, then it is completely understandable for celebrities like Ninja to have the similar bear in the woods take. And by the way, they don't add the context that he is married. It is perfectly normal, and in fact healthy, for a married man to not find himself alone in a room with another woman. I mean, any woman that wouldn't have a problem with her husband being alone in a room with another woman just doesn't love them. Don't give me the American bullshit about trust and how you think the world should be from your TV shows and soap operas and other such nonsense. It is not okay for a wife to be comfortable with her husband alone in another room with her woman. I'm pretty sure that there may be some exceptions, like in the case of a funeral. You're with your dead mother and some other woman comes to give you comfort. Like, I'm pretty sure that the mind can invent some excuses where this is allowed, but generally speaking, on average, right, if you are married, you should actually never be alone in a room with another woman, under most circumstances. Now, this goes the same for women. And I know, again, like American morality, it's like, no, like, look, we discovered Tinder and now the world is different. No. Listen. A married woman should not be alone in a room with another man. Oh, but he's a colleague from... Shut the fuck up, okay? Just shut the fuck up. If you want a healthy marriage, if you want to actually have the same thing that your grandparents had, you need to behave like your grandparents. Do you think your grandpappy would have been happy with grandmommy being alone in a room with another man? Or vice versa? Do you think grandmommy would have been happy with grandpappy being alone in a... No. Right? So that was their mentality. And if you look at the happiness index, they were probably happier than we are. Even though they had less technology and less access to things, and they were probably suffering more. For some fucking reason, they had happier marriages. So, that is Ninja's take. And I fully agree with it. Especially in the era of Me Too, where the only thing that was required was the accusation. Like, no evidence, no logs, no receipts. You had the person coming around throwing an accusation. Did you notice that Ninja never had accusations thrown against him? Did you notice that? Isn't that fascinating? So all the other streamers, they had accusations thrown against them. Some of them weren't even accusations of illegal stuff being committed, but they got canceled nevertheless. I remember my favorite accusation was against Angry Joe, which was basically a woman saying, oh yeah, so he invited me over to his hotel, and when I said no, he left. And that was the Me Too thing. That's what got the internet upset, right? So had Angry Joe behaved like Ninja and refused to be alone with her and the woman, that interaction wouldn't happen. He wouldn't have been accused. None of that would have taken place, right? So I'm sorry to say this, I agree with Ninja. Now, when you look at the women on the internet, they're like, oh, so this is why gaming is a boys' club. Well, why don't you create your own sorority club then? Like, no one is stopping you from creating your own gaming communities. No one is stopping you from building your own stuff. Why do you have to latch on to something that's already built? I find this incredibly entitling and fascinating. So, like, okay, some other people before you build something, and now you want to latch on. No, build your own things. No one is stopping you. I mean, look, women did build the VTuber industry, right? Imagine how entitled I would be if Iron Mouse would say, oh yeah, I don't want to collab with guys. And I would come like, oh yeah, see, this is why VTubing is a girls-only industry. It's because you're so exclusionary. It's a sorority club. It's a women-only thing. It would make me sound incredibly unhinged, entitled, and you know, she would be right. If Iron Mouse or any other VTuber doesn't want to collab with guys, that is on them. In fact, that was actually a controversy when HoloLive released HoloStars, which was their male talent generation. The girls didn't want to collab with the guys. And there wasn't that big of a controversy over it. I mean, sure, some people were upset, but all in all, there was enough crickets. Just because, like, no one was upset that Gargura doesn't want to collab with guys. Right? Now, I'm sure she talks with guys in real life. I'm sure maybe she even has a boyfriend or a husband. I don't fucking know. Right? Because she keeps her life private. But imagine the entitlement if one of the HoloStars would go whining and crying at Gargura. It's like, oh my goodness, how can I build an audience if you don't collab with me? And it's a sorority-only club. So because I'm not a woman, you don't want to collab with me. It would sound so whiny and entitled, wouldn't it? And this is exactly how certain people are behaving regarding Ninja saying he doesn't want to be alone with a woman in a room. And he also said that he doesn't even want to play games with women. Again, the context. The man is married. He shouldn't even be alone in another room with a woman. I mean, my wife would be uncomfortable if I was alone in a room with another woman, and I would even be uncomfortable if she wasn't uncomfortable with that. You know, it's a little bit sexy when you realize that, okay, well, there is some jealousy there. There is, like, some level of possessiveness there, which is completely acceptable and normal and healthy. In fact, like, you should be concerned, as I mentioned before, if your significant other just doesn't care. Like, imagine going to your girlfriend, it's like, yeah, I'm going to be alone with Stacy in a room. You know, I'm going to her place, going to spend some time at her house, alone. And your significant other just doesn't care. Like, how would you feel? Is that normal? I bet her, Ninja's wife is moist right now. I'm willing to bet that she gets horny when he says that thing in front of the public. And she sees all the backlash he is getting and he just doesn't care. So yeah, that's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.